Hey guys, what's going on? It's me again. We're back for, I think, what, episode 24? I think it's 24 of the Action RPG series right here in Game Maker Studio 2. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to clean up, not everything, but we're going to clean up the last few videos that we made. So we're just going to summarize. We've got the enemy almost completely programmed. We have attacking, we have a whole bunch of things done. And it's time, every now and then in a project, you should always try to at least clean up your game as much as possible. So that's what we're going to do today. I do recommend you guys watch this through to the end because, well, a few things will change and that's going to change the whole project. So we're going to be kind of everywhere today. We're not going to be set in any particular space. So let's just get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start here in the hurt state. Now, actually, I was thinking, let's play the game first. And I just want to show you guys one thing, all right? So as you know, when we attack, we have to say, hey, we're going to play this particular script or we're going to play this particular animation. However, what happens is that, all right, so we can attack, we know that, we can see that. But what we're going to do is, let's just get hit. We're going to shoot, and what's happening here is we can actually still attack as we're being hurt. Now, fair enough, you're not looking for any input, but just as a safety net, what we're going to do here, because there might just come a point where, let's just say later on in the project, things get a little less dependent, so everything becomes more independent. What we want to do here, can attack equals false. Now that's just something that we want to do, we want to put in place as a safety net. It's just a safety net to make sure that just in case we can do anything or some sort of link occurs, this will make sure that we can't attack while we're being hurt. That's just the safety net that we want to put in place. Now the next thing that we want to go into, I think we're done with scripts for now. I had notes for this, but I accidentally left them at work, so that's going to have to be, I'm kind of trying to remember everything that I wrote down, but you know, not everything goes to plan. In any case, let's go over here into the, just thinking, how should I do this? Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fix these offsets that we have. Now, a few videos ago, actually, I think it was right in the beginning or somewhere towards the beginning, we wrote this line of code. What we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it. So we're going to draw sprite, and we are going to need the view, I think it's collider. Was it? No, it was collider regular, or whatever name you have for your regular collider, sub image 0 at x and y. Done. And basically what this will do is that it will help us debug our game so that we can actually see whatever is going on. Because what we're going to do for the player for now is we are going to tell it to change some of its offsets. So let's play the game again. If we play the game, we can see that the offsets are just a little bit off. Actually, not a little bit off, it's very off. So let's have a look here. We can see that the bullets spawn just a little bit too far away from the player. We kind of want it to spawn a little bit closer, so that's what we're going to change in this section. And so what we're going to do is we are going to take our cell offsets and we are going to actually divide them by 4 plus 4. Now, this magic number here, this magic number 4 here, that's just something that I figured that would work. So whatever cell size yours is, you might need to do, depending on if you're using my cell size, which is 32, by the way. Let me check that actually. Is it 32? Not sure. Yep, it is 32. So if your cell size is 32, you might want to play around with your, if your cell size is not 32, you might need to play around with this magic number here, which is this number 4 here. Okay, so what we're doing effectively is we're taking 32, dividing it by 4, and then we're adding an extra 4 pixels on top of that. So let's just have a look now. Let's see what happens if we just play at cell divided by 4, and this for horizontal, we're facing right. Let's just have a look at what happens. So let me just build that out. It's taking a while. Okay, here we go. So we're shooting up, down, and left, like normal, because we haven't changed it. But let's see what happens with cell divided by 4 when we try to shoot. Nothing happens. What's happening is it's actually creating the object, but because it's colliding with our collider, it's actually just destroying. So by adding this extra 4, I found that the offset works. It spawns just in front of the player so that it works. Now, because we can't attack and shoot, or we can't move and shoot, attack and shoot, because we can't move and shoot at the same time, we don't need to worry about our player running into the enemy object, which is good. So we can see with the melee attacks that it spawns just in front, whereas the original code, which is for the up, down, and left, it spawns just a little bit too far. I mean, I suppose you could just leave it as it is if you wanted, but for me personally, with melee attacks especially, I'd like them to be able to shoot even in absolute close quarters. So even if there was just 1 pixel difference between you and an enemy, you should be able to hit them and get something. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of these. Now with cell divided by 2, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to divide it by 4. However, we're going to minus 4 as well. Okay, so that's the only difference between these two lines, is one is plus 4, the other one is minus 4. We're going to do the same thing for the case up and case down. Again, if it's negative cell, or since it's negative cell, we're going to go with a minus 4 again. And the same thing up here. Not cell divided by 2, cell divided by 4. And then we're going to plus 4 at the bottom because we want it to be further down. So let's play the game now and let's see how that looks. Hopefully it works because like I said, I left my notes at work. I'm not at work, I'm already home from work, and so I kind of don't want to go home after all that. So let me check that. Ooh. Okay, so up works. Down's still a little bit weird. Ah, that's because down I didn't change it to 4. So that should fix the problem. Let's just leave it there for now. We're going to do the same thing for object enemy, or was it parent enemy? I think it was parent enemy. Yeah. So here in parent enemy, what we're going to do is the exact same thing. So we're going to take our cell values and we're going to divide them by 4. And then in the case of right, we're going to plus 4. For left, we're going to again divide by 4, but this time we'll take away an extra 4 pixels. And then for cell, same thing since we're facing up. And of course down here at the bottom, 4. Okay, so that should work. I mean, we could just do cell divided by 6. I'm just thinking, hang on, give me a sec. Cell divided by 6. No, I don't think that'll work. So we'll just leave it at this. Cell divided by 4 plus 4. It's much better than fiddling around with numbers for too long, but that's something that you can change according to your own personal tastes, this extra 4 here. I mean, you can change that to 3, 2, 1, whatever suits your project. But for me, this is what suits me best. Cell 4 plus and minus 4, depending on direction. So that's all that we're going to do for that section. Let's keep going to the next bit, which was, I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. So we are now going to have a look at the attack power. Let me just set everything back to 1 so that we all have neutral stats. Makes things a lot easier to debug when everything's set to 1. What we're going to do here is we actually have a bit of a problem. Is if we look at the animation end event, what's actually happening is we're taking health away. However, with the parent projectile, you might have noticed this, you might not have. In the object collision event, we're also taking health away depending on the power. Now, this is a design decision that I made when I wrote this up at the very beginning. I wanted whatever the bullet hit to take damage immediately. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just one thing, and that's in both the parent enemy and in the object player, we're going to take this health minus minus. We're going to take that and just get rid of it. Just get rid of that. Because we only want it to check health one time. Now, I think we could play the game now, but it would be much better for us to first, let's debug this. And so here in the player's draw event, we're going to draw text at X and Y, and we're going to draw a string. Whoops, I can't spell. Health. We are going to draw health. Remember, these are just for debugging. Okay, so you don't need to write this out. I'm just trying to show you guys something. The reasons behind why we're doing what we're doing. Again, we're going to do the same thing for parent enemy. Here in add event, we're going to draw. And then here we're going to say draw self, of course, draw self. Again, it's good to have these in place just in case something goes wrong. So for draw self after that, we're going to do the same thing, draw text at X and Y, and then string health. I keep writing in capitals. Okay, so we have now draw string health. Let's play that and let's see how that works out. Hopefully it works out nicely. We should now have a player here who has 4 health and an enemy that has 4 health. So now we take damage nice and easy. This is great. So we're shooting. Can we melee? Okay, so there we go. He goes into -1, and that's only because I actually shot him and then I meleeed at the same time. We need to fix that. But that shouldn't be happening. Let's try that again, actually. Actually, you know what? Let's not try that again. Let's just keep going. I'd like to finish this video quickly. I am tired. I came home from work and so I'm a little bit tired today. It was a long day today. So again, I'm just gonna leave these in these little notes here for me later, and maybe for you guys as well, that these extra lines here, they're just for debugging so that we know what's going on. Now, another thing that's actually happening is if we close all these other windows, don't need the object enemy, at least not for now, is we actually have a problem here. When we create an object projectile, or when we create a shooting object projectile, it actually keeps going. It doesn't stop, it stays in the room. So what do we need to do? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we actually need to go into game. And again, this is just for debugging. I just want to kind of show you this, but here in the draw GUI, I'm going to leave a note here. This is for debugging. And we're going to draw text. Draw text at 0, 0, so it will draw in the top left corner. And we're going to say string instance count. So what instance count does is it gives us a value of, it gives us a number of how many objects or how many instances are in the room at any given point in time. So let's run the game. And I just want to show you guys something. So let it play, let it play, let it play. Okay. So we can see up here in the top corner, I hope you guys can see it, but it's 7 there. If I press space, you saw that it creates another instance of the bullet, and it's now at 8. Now we're here, right here at the edge of the map. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press space again. You can see that it just keeps going up. These objects continue to exist even though we can't see it anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to close that because we don't actually need that anymore. We're going to go back into parent projectile, and here we're going to add a new event. Down here in other, when we are, I think it's outside view 0. Now remember, when we set up the camera, we set camera number 1. Sorry, camera number 0. Not number 1, camera 0. And so we're going to add this. Outside view 0. We're going to add just one line, and that is instance destroy. And we're not going to put in any parameters there. Now, keep in mind that this is for, how do I put this? This is basic. This is a very basic method to do it. There are other methods of doing this, but we won't get into that because it's not beginner friendly. So now let's play the game again. It's a very easy fix, actually. I think the most complex thing here was the offsets, and that was about it. So again, we're starting at 7, creates 8, and goes back to 7. 8 and back to 7. And we go this way, 8 and 7, 8 and 7, 8 and 7. See? So now, when the bullet object is outside of the view, basically outside of what we can see, it destroys itself. We could, of course, say if it's outside of the room. However, what happens is that kind of creates an opening for people to, let's say we're creating a shooter game, they can spam bullets in all these directions and hit all these monsters and get, I don't know, and kill monsters that they can't even see. So basically when we're outside of the view, it destroys itself so that we don't get those hidden bonuses. But that's all for that. Let's now go into, there's still one more thing that I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember. And I think it was in parent enemy. Let me just try and figure this one out. Oh, right. So here in parent enemy, the only way to actually show you guys this is if I play the game. I have to actually get killed by the enemy in this case. So let's just, let's have a look at that first. Let's move. No enemy. Let's go back. Okay, so I just need to get killed by the enemy. And you can see there's a bit of a problem here. Watch the count. It continues to go up. Why? The reason why is because here in the enemy, or in the parent enemy event, after it attacks, it doesn't actually destroy the projectile that it created. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, I think it was instance destroy, instance destroy parent projectile. A simple line, one line of code. So what we're going to do, we're going to play that again. And we are just going to wait for it to load up. And we're going to scroll down. Hopefully an enemy spawns. No enemy spawn. Okay. So now let's have a look. It goes 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, which is what we wanted. We don't want to be creating like 10 or 20 or 30 of these extra bullets. We just want to create it as it is. So that line is done. We're finished with that, which is good. That's great. Now you saw that we were just a little bit too far away from the player to be able to hit them. What we're going to do is, for me, I'm just going to change that to 20. That sounds like it's enough to be able to hit us and actually knock us back. So that's good. Now, the last thing that I wanted to do, I don't want to cover too much of this because I've actually already made a video covering this a little bit more in depth. And I'll give you guys a link to that in the cards above, so you can have a look at that if you are interested in actually having a look at the variable damage video. I might do a revised version of that at another point in time, but for now that should be fine. But here in our object player, what we want to do is we want to say, hey, maybe we can do variable damage, or at least let's have some defense stats going for us, so we can start implementing some actual role-playing game or classic role-playing game statistics into our game. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in a single stat, and that's defense. Now I'm going to set that to say 1. We're going to do the same thing for the parent enemy. Let's just say defense equals 1 as well. So let's just leave it at that. In the parent projectile, what we're going to do is in the object collision event, we're going to say, hey, health minus equals power minus the defense of that enemy. So let's play the game again. Actually, let's boost our power a bit with player. Let's boost our power, our attack power to say 2, seeing as the defense of this guy is 1. Let's just play that and see how that looks. Hopefully it looks good and proper. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But let's have a look here. So we're scrolling down. Let's hope an enemy spawns. Yes, great. So we still do damage. What happens if he tries to hit us? Nothing happens because he's actually a bit weak. Let's lower, how should I do this? Let's say our defense is 2. Let's up our defense. Now you might think, hey, wait, that doesn't make any sense. He's going to do 0 damage to us altogether. Hopefully, by increasing our defense, I can prove you guys wrong. Hopefully. Because I kind of need to make a point here. No enemies are spawning. Okay, great. Now you can see here, our attack, he's attacking us, but we're gaining health. Now, why is that happening? The reason is because we're actually already taking away power minus defense. Now, there are 2 fixes to this. The first one is you could say plus power minus defense, which kind of looks counterintuitive when you think about it, but when you just look at it like this, it seems a bit counterintuitive, but if you actually think about it a little bit more, it makes just slightly more sense. However, what if your attack is greater than the defense? Then that kind of doesn't work. So what I tend to do is say power minus defense, just to make sure that it just kind of looks better, kind of makes more sense, is if power minus defense is greater than 0, I'm going to show you guys I want to pronounce it right, but I can't pronounce it right. I think it's a ternary operator. So basically it's an if statement, if-else statement in one line. So if power minus defense is greater than 0, what we're going to use is the power minus defense, whatever that results in. Else, so this colon here is else. 0. This is I would say it's an intermediate way to go about it, but this will basically make sure, this is going to check this line here, this part of the sentence here. This will check, is power minus defense greater than 0? This question mark here is an if statement, is a one-line if statement. If it's greater than 0, then we use power defense. However, if power minus defense is not greater than 0, or if it's 0 or less, then we're going to set it to 0. So that's just something to be aware of. Don't worry about the details of it now. I might do another video on how to use these properly, but for now, just listen to me and just follow what I have to do. So we've now implemented this new feature, I guess. It's a slightly new feature. It's not really part of code cleanup, but you see here, oh, he hits us, but remember, none of the stats have changed, but we're not gaining health. We're not losing health, but we're not gaining health either, which is good. All right, so let's see what happens if we take our parent enemy and we increase its defense to 1.5. This is useful because now we can have fractional damage as well. It's not just all whole numbers. Of course, if you wanted to deal with whole numbers, exclusively with whole numbers, then that, by all means, that's up to you. But for me, I think having fractional damage is kind of interesting. I don't know, I never really thought about it, whether it would be interesting or not, but there you go. So we've implemented some sort of RPG elements, some very light RPG elements into the game. Of course, you can tweak these values to whatever you want. These are just magic numbers that I pulled out of my head. I'm trying to remember all these things from my video, from my notes, not my video, from my notes. But that's all that we've got for this project, or at least at this point in the project. We've completed what? What have we done? We've done moving, room transitions, collisions. We've done basic enemy AI. We've done shooting. We've done state machines for both the player and for the enemy. So for the most part, we've finished all of the major gameplay or everything that would make the game a game, at least for now, if you're making a very generic action RPG. I would like to say that this is the end. However, there are a few things that I might come back to in the end, but thank you guys so much for watching this video anyway. Like I said, I might continue this series at a later date, but at this point in time, we are finished with the major gameplay that would make our game. So at this stage, if you just add in your own sprites, you can actually present this to, I don't know, maybe your teacher, or I wouldn't go presenting it to a publisher yet because, like I said, it's not finished. We haven't done any UI stuff or any main menu stuff. That wasn't the intention of this particular series. It was just to get the gameplay done. Or at least get as much of the gameplay done as possible. Like I said, I will, or I'm thinking about continuing this on a little later in the year. I do still have to make an update video for you guys saying why I can't contribute to YouTube as much as I can or as much as I would like to. But at this stage, this project is finished. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, then congratulations. You've made a beginner or an entry level. I should stop using the word beginner, but you've made an entry level action RPG. So congratulations to you guys. You guys have made it. And I hope that your game dev projects are really on track and that you continue to learn and grow as game developers. But for now, guys, this is all from me. My name is BlaizeArtz, and I hope you enjoyed this series. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.